Hi, I'm Galaxia Martin. I have over 20 years in IT experience and over 12 years in cybersecurity. I'm currently a Solutions Director for Cloud and Cybersecurity at SDI Presence in Chicago, Illinois. I think my fascination with cybersecurity stemmed really when I was younger, being able to see all the different threat landscapes change over year after year. And I'm the type of individual that always has to have some form of excitement in my career, otherwise I get pretty bored. I kind of multitask quite a lot in my everyday life anyway, even outside of my profession. So being on my toes regularly is something that excites me and gets me interested in solving problems. And that's the other thing. I'm huge on solving problems. I think the biggest piece in my career is that I always look at things from a different state of mind. A good example, I have kind of this skill of being able to be innovative and help streamline processes in any business that I've worked at, as well as develop IP for companies that may not even consider it optimization in certain processes, affordable IPs, of course, and even some world-changing solutions within some of these larger organizations that I've helped along the way within their tools, or just being a customer of their tools and giving them enhancements, different features, or different concepts to consider as they mature. I think one of my biggest achievements in cybersecurity is really kind of I don't want to say my first endeavor, but being able to work with really extremely talented cybersecurity experts before I was really considered good at it, I should say. And I don't know if everybody's like the best at it, right? Because it changes so much that it's hard to be the best. But being good at it's a good start. But being able to see kind of all these different avenues of threats, and then learning and developing an MSP into an MSSP. I've done it twice in my career. And that's really challenging because you really have to be accountable and be considerate and always keep your eyes on the prize, because as threats come in, it's your credibility, not just the company you work for, but you as an individual that's leading that team. So that's a big milestone for me. And being able to do trials with clients when SIM really first started and see all the threats come in the day one of the trial, and I think that's huge to be able to help mitigate those types of issues for a client right then and there on real time. Well, I think in regards to that, I don't know. I don't think any certification, in a sense, truly helps your career. I think it's a good baseline to get to where you want to be. Like, for example, if there's a job posting and it really wants a certified ethical hacker, and you don't have it, but you do have some experience, maybe you've mentored with people, right, and you've been in cybersecurity for quite some time, kind of like I have been, and you want that position, and that's one of your goals. I think that's where certifications come into play, and I think that goes for anything as far as certifications. I think ECH was kind of just a stepping stone for me. I already had this bigger picture concept that I wanted to go after in my career. I realized that I have a master's degree already in information systems, and I had it over a decade ago. And I realized that with just the experience in cybersecurity, with all the things I've done, setting up MSSPs from the ground up, and being them successful, being able to implement certain cyber tools and a SOC and manage that effectively, I think that is exceptional in the eyes of the beholder. But the truth is, I think in the labor industry that people hiring sometimes really want to have additional credibility than just what you say. And I think the job market specifically really now hones in on education, certifications when it comes to cyber, because, there's risk with hiring someone that maybe isn't trained properly. And I was trained by a lot of intelligent people in the cyber industry, and I've had the luxury of working side by side with some of the best. And I think that's great, but at the end of the day, there's only my story and references that can back that up, and there's a bigger picture that has to be had. So for me, I went back to school after being gone for a decade to get my second master's degree in cybersecurity information assurance. So with that, part of the course was an ethical hacking course, and there's actually network forensics too, which is a totally cool thing, but we won't talk about that here. But so in that course, if you passed it, you had to pass your ethical hacking exam through the EC Council. So that's kind of how this journey happened for me. And I will tell you that I was like so ecstatic about this course, because I was like, this is going to be so cool. I get to actually learn all these different techniques. You know, I knew a few of them, but the like deep dive stuff, playing in Kali Linux, using all these awesome solutions, you know, and being able to really, really understand cyber threats and attacks and simulate them, and being able to have these intellectual conversations with customers I serve on like, yeah, the CVE that you have, here's some examples of how someone can hack your system, and like walk them through it, operationally and technically too, right? So I keep it both layers. So I think that was exciting for me. I don't think it gave me a promotion or a job that I wanted. I do think that it helped solidify what I was saying over the last 12 years of being in cybersecurity. I think it's given me more credibility. It's very recognizable. I think when I got my certification, I actually cried because it was a pretty hard exam, and you know, I did the hands-on labs too, like, which was super fun. But I felt like the exam, I know some folks were like, oh, it wasn't that hard, but like for me, already being in the industry for so long and knowing different ways of attacks, and then learning this methodical method and really honing in on what the experts have really been trained on, it's been hard because I'm looking at real life scenarios versus textbook scenarios, right? So I think the exam had some really fun questions on it, and I was really ecstatic when I passed because I felt like I could do it. I did it, you know? And it doesn't matter how old or how young you are. You know, if you want to achieve anything in this life, it's entirely possible. You just got to put your mind to it, put in the work, and get it done. So I think for me, you know, it's recognizable because I have it, you know, on my LinkedIn, I have it on my resumes, I talk about it, my work knows about it, even my previous organization knew about it. And I think it gives you credibility when you start talking about cybersecurity with your customers or prospects, right? And I'll tell you in conversations, you know, I used to give an example about, you know, my experience with, I've helped a, you know, global broker resolve a cyber crime with, you know, all these different agencies, and they're like, yeah, but then when you say, I'm a certified ethical hacker, they're like, oh. You know, it's like, it's so weird, you know, because they're intrigued by that. Like, okay, so you know how to exploit or hack systems, right? So it's kind of neat. I think that it does offer some value. I don't want to say offer some value. I think it offers a lot of value. I just think it depends, you know, like if you just are a good test taker, I think that the value will eventually reveal itself if you find a position in that role. But if you are someone like me who's had all this experience, you know, that may not be the best test taker, but can pass it, but also has the hands-on exposure, I think at the end of the day, the value's in the person that succeeds, right? The cert is just kind of this, I call it this gold stamp that like, look at me, I'm here, I'm credible, you know, and that's kind of as far as I feel is value for any cert in general. I don't know if it helped me give back to the community. I know that I've been involved in a lot of like speaking engagements, and also, you know, I've helped a teacher with a curriculum about cybersecurity in the industry. I've kind of helped them in that aspect. I know my family members call me more about their cyber problems, you know, but or friends, but I don't know. I don't think it's helped me give back just yet. So I can't really answer that question with a lot of detail, but maybe it will. You know, I'm more than willing to help organizations improve their cyber posture, you know, and I think that's critical. So I think if you're able to give back in any way to community, you should. So as I kind of mentioned, this was kind of this is a voucher to take the test from my school for my second master's degree in cybersecurity. So I wasn't in the program. I was in the course for school, and I had hands-on labs. Like, I think there was like 15 labs. It was ridiculously crazy. But, you know, every lab was very detailed. You went through like the exercises. And I think that was my favorite part because I was like, I can't wait to do this in the field, you know, I have my own separate system procured for ethical hacking, which is really kind of my side thing. So I'm really excited about that aspect of it. And I think the program really teaches you the mindset of a cyber criminal. And I think that's the biggest piece is that, you know, if you really want to know, what they're thinking, what they're trying to do, what information they're trying to get, or their purpose, this course also takes that aspect of it, from the technical piece as well as the mentality. And I think that biggest part of the program is exceptionally great, because you learn how to protect the industries that you're serving. Like, for example, for me, the company I work for, we work with many different organizations, and being able to understand kind of the thoughts of what a cyber criminal would do to that organization really helps you hone in on how to improve their cybersecurity posture. I think it's a great forum. I think that, it connects the dots with cybersecurity professionals anyway. I don't really attribute my success to a particular platform or service. I contribute my success to my own drive and tenaciousness and goals in life. I also contribute my success to the people that I've had the pleasure of working with, the people that have mentored me, my team members, everybody who I've encountered in my professional career that has helped me advance, or that I've learned failures from. I think that is where I attribute my success the most to.